Hey guys, how's it going? I'm going to do something completely different on the YouTube channel today. We are going to be talking about credit cards. Some people fear them, some people love them, and some people are just about to get into one. I want to go over this because if used properly, a credit card is a great tool to have in your wallet. And the reason why is, one, it helps build credit, and two, it can actually make you money for using it, unlike a debit card. Debit card, when you use your debit card, doesn't make you money, and you get nothing from it. And if you do get anything from it, it's that you have to pay the bank because you went over your transaction fees, which sucks, right? So let's go through, and we're going to go through our transaction amounts and stuff like that. I think for your basic plan, now only few banks still have your free savings account, or not even a free savings account. We won't even talk about savings accounts because they're not worth it. In Canada and America, at least, the banks don't want to pay you for it. We'll go through that on another video though. What we really want to go through right now is credit cards. With a credit card, the reason why they can be beneficial is because that small little piece of plastic, every time you swipe it, if you have a cashback one, will actually pay you money every time you use it. For me, I collect about $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Yeah, sure. That sounds very variant, right? 5 to 10,000. It just depends on your earnings and how much you roll through that puppy. Also, usually when you're using it, especially for the ones with cashback, they'll be tiered, meaning everyday use, it's probably 1%, maybe 2%. Gasoline purchases is usually 3 to 4%, same with groceries. Make sure you read the pamphlet, and make sure when you're shopping credit cards from different banks that you look at this. So, let's go more into this. When you have your credit card and you're swiping it away and you're making your money, it's great, and there's no transactional limits. So, what's the downside? Like things in life, overuse can be bad too. If you don't have your money to pay it off, those credit cards tend to come with a 19% interest, or sometimes higher, 21. And if you read it really in depth, it could go even higher than that. When you see that interest rate, it makes you scared. And you know what? If you are going to use this irresponsibly, it should. Any credit card should make you scared, because you can bury yourself in debt so quickly, and it can be such a big mountain to climb out of. If you're doing big purchases, we're gonna go through another video on this, but stick with a line of credit, like buying a car, a hot tub, anything like that. And let's say you can't get financing, go and get a line of credit. If you can't get a line of credit right now, that's fine. You can look at the financing options, which can be good too, because this will help you build credit. Narrowing back to the credit card should be used for day-to-day purchases, and it should also be used if you can pay it off immediately. Meaning that, and I don't mean tomorrow, I mean within the next month, so that way this interest isn't going to hit you. How I use my credit card is simple like this. I go to the grocery store, I go to Starbucks, I go anywhere, I go to a meeting and pay for dinner, I go to anything like that. I purchase parts online, anything like that. I will expenditure the money with my credit card, and I will pay it off once, usually every 2 weeks. If I have to, at maximum 1 month. That way, I haven't paid interest in probably 7 or 8 years on my credit card, put it that way. And I've been using it, and I've built a really good credit score through using my credit card and other bills. The biggest thing to know about building credit score, especially with your Visa, is making sure you pay your bill, or at least paying your minimum. So if you've already buried yourself in credit card debt and you're trying to get this, and you're like, wow, this is affecting my credit, as long as you're making your minimums, and I suggest making more than that, you should never just pay the minimum, you're actually building credit. The banks want to see that you know how to spend money, and they want you to spend money. That's what the credit system's all about. And that's why it can be fun. Anyways, go over credit later. Let's stick to credit cards. Credit card recap. Definitely pay for your day-to-day stuff. You can pay your bills with it, but if you're gonna pay bills, you never ever ever pay the bill directly through the banking app. If you go through your banking app and you read your fine print, if you were to take in your bills, let's say you go to your billing tab or whatever you have on your bank and you go to pay it, a lot of times a message pops up and says, warning, you will have to pay a cash advance fee of 2%. And usually that means you're starting that the moment that you purchase your bill or pay your bill off. You don't want to do that. You instantly start paying interest. You don't want to do that. What you should do is when you get that bill come through, like your cell phone bill, maybe your hydro bill and things like that, however you pay for your electricity, your gas and everything like that, if they have an option to go to a website to pay through their website, do it that way with your credit card. And the reason why is then it comes out as if you were buying something from the supermarket. And then what's cool is if you pay that bill every time on the exact same time, depending on your credit card, it'll see it as a bill that comes out every single month, like Netflix if you have it on auto pay, like Amazon Prime, like Adobe, like all these different bills where they automatically withdraw. They're good because of the fact that if you read your credit card, that's actually, I forget what they call it. It's the rotational bill though. That's the quick way for me to put it to you. And what's gonna end up happening is a lot of times, if you have a cashback, it'll actually pay you a higher percentage because it does that. Reoccurring bill, there we go. Clicked in my head. So that's some of the advantages. Never ever just go to an ATM and pull it off your credit card. The reason why I'm saying this is when you do that, you instantly are paying cash advance fees and it's not worth it. If you're gonna have to use an ATM, go ahead and pull it off your debit card. Why? Because you're not getting cash back off that money anyway, and because by doing so, it's easier to pull it off. And if you find your own bank, let's say, for example, you are part of TD and you find a TD ATM, what's cool is a lot of those ones will waive your ATM fee because you're with that bank. Okay, so we've gone through a lot. I just want to recap. You should always have money to pay off your credit card. Meaning, when you're setting your limit for your credit card, what I highly suggest you do is start with a lower limit and then bump it if you know you can easily cover those payments every month. So start it if you can at 500 bucks. Never, ever, ever jump in, especially if you are working part-time, you don't have a full-time job yet, and you're barely making enough. Don't jump over 500 bucks. If you go ahead and think, oh my gosh, they're trying to talk to me at the bank and they want to give me $2,000 credit. If you have the control, go ahead, throw it in there. But for a good 85%, please don't do it. I don't want to see you buried in debt, and I don't want to see you having to pay the banks a whole lot of interest. I know too many people that have set their credit cards at $8,000, $10,000, and they're still paying for it. And that's like 10 to 15 years later because it was one really fun month or a couple really fun months. We can talk about different ways to save in another video. This is about your day-to-day spending. I do suggest you use a credit card. I do suggest that you read the fine print, go through it all, and if you have any questions, literally Google every term you do not understand on there. And yes, those terms are gonna scare you. That's the way they're designed. Heck, you should look at your Facebook terms and service. That scares me more than it does. We won't even go into that. Enjoy, just remember, use it responsibly. It's like a fine glass of wine. Having it with dinner, it's actually recommended, even in your first aid guide. Taking an entire box of wine and downing it the night before your test, not recommended. All right? Thanks again for watching. I hope this helped you out. Please leave something in the comment section below if you have a question. If I see your question, I'll try my best to answer it. But again, please, please, please. There's so many good reasons to use your credit card, and it can make you a lot of money. And I say that because if you learn to use a credit card, you can get yourself into bigger and better things. Again, I'll go over that with different investment tactics and things like that. Thanks again for watching.